JT Witzersill of Locked On Utes. From the outside perspective, it seems like Utah basketball is on fire. The football team also lost a couple of head-scratching transfers. Let's start on the gridiron. That's the most important. Yes. It's coming up with Utah and the transfer portal. Do you feel as though those who exited were a version of positive attrition? As that number got close to kind of 10, you lost a couple guys in conference to Arizona, and there was the A&M kid. I mean, why are these guys jumping ship? And is it a bad thing, or are those dudes that you really aren't going to miss?
You're not going to miss them because they want to play, and that's completely understandable. There is one that Utah might potentially miss. Coley, the team's starting center from last year, entered the portal, now at Texas A&M. This is not inside information. I have a hard time believing that Utah just didn't get outbid in that situation, but I'll also say this about Coley. Johnny Maea, who was going to be Utah's starting center last fall, got hurt, and then that was what allowed Coley to start. I believe.
Wait a second. A Utah starter got hurt last year?
Yeah, exactly. I believe if Coley had stayed, Maea beat him out before. I think he would have beat him out again. So I actually think it worked out well for Coley too. But let's say Maea doesn't get back to full health. That's the one position that could potentially hurt Utah. It's nice you have Jaron Kump, a guy who started games for you, even though his starts at center didn't go great. But if that's your backup, still a guy who started games, I feel decent about the center position. Literally everywhere else, it's like Chase Kennedy left, and so did Vaughn after coming over from UTEP. Those are two defensive ends, right? The defensive line is absolutely loaded for Utah with tons of returning contributors. And you just added a transfer in Paul Fitzgerald anyways. Damon Alford's coming over, wide receiver if you lost Sidney and Bannister. And Bannister was never really going to play much this fall anyways. Alford's a guy over 600 yards, average 19 yards per catch, coming over from Syracuse. I think he's a legit guy too. Even just added a backup quarterback. I felt good about where Utah's quarterback stood, but now they added Sam Heward, it's not Brock Heward's son, it's Brock Heward's brother's son, who Brock Heward's brother, Damon, also played in the NFL too. So either way, some good backup pedigree there if Wilson and Rose don't pan out. I feel really good about where Utah's at. I think they did a great job at the transfer portal early in the spring and then post-spring ball. Everyone that's left wants playing time. Coley is the only one you can make an argument for upgraded, but if we're talking about on-the-field success over the last few years, there's no way you can tell me Texas A&M has been better than Utah as of recently.
Nope. If you want to win, you stay at Utah rather than going to Texas A&M. But if you want to get paid and play, A&M's not a bad spot to go if you're a guy who would likely lose his starting job. Let's go into, I'll say dumpster fire, man.
I thought are we out of time? Are we out of time? I think
Utah basketball used to exist. Here's what I love about Caleb Lohner going to Utah. Is I don't have to watch him kick the ball off of his shin and into the stands anymore on the basketball floor for the Baylor Bears. Now I get to watch him. I can only imagine he's going to fumble the ball 7 times for Utah. I don't even know if he's going to play that much in football.
He's going to play. The tight end room's fantastic.
Right. He doesn't play football. I don't know what he's doing. Instead, I love the graphic you posted that was like, you know what? I might explore the opportunity of playing basketball as well. If I am anyone in the Salt Lake City area, I am burning. I'm just like, please play basketball. I'm saying that to anyone, much less Caleb Lohner. What is going on? I know that a couple of transfers have come in. This conversation would have been much more dour maybe 4 days ago. What is going on with Utah basketball? And does it still exist, or have they folded the program?
It still exists. As right now we're recording this, it should be a rough first year for them in the Big 12, which really sucks for Craig Smith. I think Craig Smith is a good basketball coach.
That's good.
But clearly, I'll say this. Obviously, the recruiting hasn't always been there. Now, the Davon Smith thing worked out. I can go through a ton of misses as well, too. And as much as I like Coach Smith, Utah's really struggled on the road in big games. Now, I still think they just missed out on the NCAA tournament. They were one of the last 12 teams in whatever you want to slate, to miss out, one of the last 12 teams. Right. So I think all the talk, they have to fire him now. I think that is ridiculous. I think he deserves a chance. But it's hard for me to believe when you just lost Brandon Carlson, Davon Smith, who led the Pac-12 in triple-doubles, set a record as well for Pac-12 era in triple-doubles. And you even lose a guy like Keba Keita in the 11th hour. And you see an assistant coach leave who you brought over from BYU, been here for the past few years, and now he's jumping ship back to BYU. It's not good. They've added a couple of guys. None of them are going to move the needle. Some of you Big 12 fans will be familiar with Mason Madsen, is Gabe Madsen's twin brother, but he only averaged 8 a game. It's not like he's coming in and going to take over the world in Salt Lake. Even Miro Little, right? He's a former Baylor guard. He only averaged 1 point a game. Now, I will say, former 4-star potential is there,
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of pressure on him and a lot of these other, even Keller from Wake Forest, right? He averaged 1 point a game too. Dawes is coming over from Rice. Like, there's not a lot of these guys that really move the needle and make you think, oh yeah, where I mentioned for Utah football, maybe it'll be a weaker conference this year that when the Pac-12 was last fall, the Big 12 is going to be a way better basketball conference than Utah is. So there's potential here for the team to maybe be a little better, but they've had a lot of recruiting misses, and I don't know if it's NIL or what it is, but clearly Utah needs to do a better job recruiting and finding players. And if they don't pick up some more players in the portal, and barring a crazy season, we're probably talking about a Utah coaching change this time next year. That's just the facts.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's tough because you walk into the Big 12, which is such a good conference. This vaguely reminds me of what happened to West Virginia going into this first year, this last season of basketball, where there was a coaching change there, and just that dumpster fire is the right word to describe what those fans went through and those players went through. And you felt like, outside of perspective, you felt bad because you just knew, like the buzzsaw is coming. And I don't know if they deserve it.
But you like really quick, like you like the talent that West Virginia added. Kerr Kriisa. I'm not a big Kerr Kriisa fan. Like that at least would get you excited at the time. Raekwon Battle did big things in the Big Sky. These guys, I'm trying to talk myself into a guy who didn't even average 2 points a game last year. Like that it's such a drastic, even that is a drastic difference.
I'll expose you here and then we'll close the show.
Okay.
You did send me a text, which was the highlights of one of the new transfers that Utah got, and said the first highlight on here is an air ball. Is that good? No, that's not good. JT, for listeners of Locked On Big 12 who are Utah fans and want to find more of your content, or just general JT Wistrcill fans, where can they find you?
Well, you guys can follow me at X if there are like one or two somehow genuine JT Wistrcill fans out there. I salute all of you, so you can follow me on X. And for Locked On Utes and Utah content, make sure you guys just check it out at Locked On Utes on YouTube, as well as on X, where it's always fun breaking everything down with Utah. Oftentimes with Drake as well, too, who once again said more positive things about Utah as well. So, Drake, we're eventually getting that narrative changed, my friend.
Coming around, I do think Utah fans on the whole want to be in the Big 12. I'll put that out there, though. There are those few that I'm like, shut up. Just stop it. Just be nice for 1 second. This has been It Always Will Be. That's JT Wistrcill. That's I'm Sunbird. Come back to these shows for more of what you want every day with the Locked On Podcast Network. Again, this has been It Always Will Be. Locked On Utes. And thanks for making it your first listen every single day. No se grande.